Welcome back to the History Shelf Booktube. I'm so glad you're here. My name's Peg, and today we're looking at a bunch of new releases from university presses. I figured, I haven't done just a solely focus on new arrivals from university presses, so I thought I would do that today. I've got several different videos lined up that I need to get out this week so I can get caught up on all of the new history and some fiction too, historical fiction, mysteries, thrillers, all that kind of different stuff. I've got a few of those as well. If you're new to the channel, welcome to the History Shelf. This is where you come for history or historical fiction, but I also have a sideline here. In some fiction, I do a lot of mystery. Mystery historical fictions are my favorite. I do like Agatha Christie. You'll find a playlist that I have of where my partner and I did a Marple a month, and we still have 2 more to go. We still want to do a series on Hercule Poirot, but I'm excited to announce that I might be moving into Inspector Maigret novels as well. They are releasing a lot of his books in new editions, and I'm getting my greedy little fingers on a few of those. But that's in the future. That's coming. But for now, I wanted to show you some of the recent releases from primarily University of Nebraska Press with their imprints, Potomac Books. But I also have a Princeton in here. I've got an Oxford. I've got Oklahoma University Press. And and a Columbia. But I still have more, but those are the ones other ones I've bought. By the way, I should say this since we're on the topic of University Press books. Starting tomorrow, May 1st, Yale is having a sale. Yale University Press. Let me make sure I've got that correct. Yep, Yale University Press. It's 50% off sale. Plus free shipping on print books. It's May 1st through May 31st. I just got an email about it. I've already scouted out a couple titles that I want. So we'll see if I have a Yale University Press haul coming soon. It probably won't be a lot, just because I am inundated with books right now. I don't need any more. Right, and isn't that what bibliophiles say, right? It's like, it's not a question of needing anymore. We all, us book readers and bibliophiles, don't need any more books. That's not the question. It's whether I can resist saying no. You know how it goes. So let's just dive in, guys. Let's start off with an Oxford title. Oh, I got 2 Oxford titles. Cool. One of which I'm very happy to say I've already read and reviewed. I've got a written review published in Forward magazine. I think I showed it to you last time. I don't know if it's in this issue or the one before. I guess I'll just show you, but I got to finish. Nope, I don't think it's in this one. It's in an older one. I usually get a comp copy since I write reviews for them. I think it was in this issue, which was the January-February issue of Forward, which is reviews of indie books since 1998. But it's not just indie books that they do. Anyway, let me show you the one I wrote a review for. And it's a beautiful, I'm so glad they sent me a finished copy because I love this book. This is Bright Circle, 5 Remarkable Women in the Age of Transcendentalism by Randall Fuller. Oxford University Press. It looks like a thin volume, but it's a really kind of like glossy. It's got the kind of heavy paper. Let's get that. We've got a lot of color. See, I didn't have that in the galley, the PDF galley I was reading from. But I love this book. Oh my gosh. I remember I was reading this on a plane going to my my work conference back in October, and I was reading this on the plane there in the evening when I had time, and so I wrote a review late last year, but I'll give you just a snippet of this. But this is a gorgeous book. Just the way it's put together, too, is just gorgeous. In November 1839, a group of young women in Boston formed a conversation society, quote, to answer the great questions, end quote, of special importance to women. What are we born to do? How shall we do it? The lives and works of the 5 women who discuss these questions are at the center of Bright Circle, a group biography of remarkable thinkers and artists who played path-breaking roles in the Transcendentalist movement. Transcendentalism remains the most important literary and philosophical movement to have originated in the United States. Most accounts of it, however, trace its emergence to a group of young intellectuals, such as Ralph Waldo Emerson, Henry David Thoreau, who were dissatisfied with their religious, literary, and social culture. Yet there is a forgotten history of transcendentalism, a submerged counter-narrative that features a network of fiercely intelligent women who were central to the development of the movement, even as they found themselves silenced by their culturally assigned roles as women. Bright Circle is intended to reorient our understanding of transcendentalism, to help us see the movement as a far more collaborative and interactive project between women and men that is commonly understood. It recounts the lives of Mary Moody Emerson, who I believe was Ralph Waldo's aunt or great aunt, if I'm remembering correctly. Then we have Elizabeth Palmer Peabody, Sophia Peabody Hawthorne, Lydia Jackson Emerson, who is fascinating to me, and of course Margaret Fuller, whom I love. So it recounts those lives as they developed crucial ideas about the self, nature, and feeling, even as they pushed their male counterparts to consider the rights of enslaved people of color and women. Many ideas once considered original to Emerson and Thoreau are shown to have originated with women who had little opportunity to publicly express them. And that's true. This book delivers on that, and it was a revelation. Together, the 5 women of Bright Circle helped form the foundations of American feminism. Yes, Randall Fuller shows in this book, in one example, how Ralph Waldo actually, he had a long correspondence with Mary Moody. Let me see if I can get a picture of her. She was something else. She was a pistol. And she read everything she could get her hands on. She was an intellectual dynamo. And some of the things that she wrote about and just in her letters, considering, the nature of philosophy, humanity. Is there a picture of it? Oh, man, maybe she was too early to have that done. He borrowed from her, and he shows in the book how that happened. So it's like, behind every man there's a good woman, or, well, in this case it was like there's a brilliant woman, and he took her ideas and floated them as his own. Now, he had his own original ideas, obviously, but in this book they show what he borrowed from Mary Moody. And interestingly enough, there are color pictures on some of the internal pages, not in the inserts, so there's a mixture of color, and this is not a glossy page, so it's interesting to have color on a regular, just a regular non-glossy sheet of paper. I know I'm kind of nerding out on this, but it's very unusual. Usually you just have black and white, but they also have black and white, but it's just a mixture of the two. This is a fantastic book, and I can't wait to reread it, because I highly annotated the PDF. There was so much good stuff in this book. Okay, so I've been going on and on for 4 minutes about this book. I probably should move on, but I wanted to make you aware that this, finished copy has arrived, and I can highly recommend this. From Oxford University Press. All right, I know some of you love my 50-minute videos. I'm really trying to cut it down to 30. Don't know if we're going to make it. I've got a lot of books here. Next Oxford University Press book. That was a publicist reached out to me and said, would you be interested in looking at this one? And of course I am. This is We the Men. How Forgetting Women's Struggles for Equality Perpetuates Inequality by Jill Elaine Hasday. This book is, I think it just published this year. Either it's out now or it will be shortly, just the fact that I have a finished copy. But let's take a look at what this offers. In a nation whose constitution purports to speak for we the people, too many of the stories that powerful Americans tell about law and society include only we the men. A long line of judges, politicians, and other influential voices have ignored women's struggles for equality or distorted them beyond recognition by wildly exaggerating American progress. Even as sexism continues to warp constitutional law, political decision-making, and everyday life, prominent Americans have spent more than a century proclaiming that the United States has already left sex discrimination behind. Jill Elaine Hasday's We the Men is the first book to explore how forgetting women's struggles for equality and forgetting the work America still has to do perpetuates injustice, promotes complacency, and denies how generations of women have had to come together to fight for reform and against regression. Hasday argues that remembering women's stories more often and more accurately can help the nation advance toward sex equality. These stories highlight the persistence of women's inequality and make clear that real progress has always required women to disrupt the status quo, demand change, and duel with determined opponents. All right, so that's just a little taste of what you can expect from We the Men. This would have been perfect for Women's History Month. I'm a little bit late. Not sure when I can get to this one. May is completely booked, pun intended. I have really loaded up with some book reviews, reviewing history and also historical fiction, and a couple of little mystery thrillers thrown in. But yeah, kind of front-loaded May, so I'm pretty busy for a while, and I'm trying to get some author interviews lined up for the summer. So lots of reading to be done yet. But I'm happy to take a look at We the Men and see how far I can get in this, or, you know, kind of breeze through and see what the main arguments are here. All right. Now, got a Harvard Press book. I requested this one because I really do want to read this right away if I can. This is it goes to my interest in like religious history. This book came out probably, I think it's a fairly new, yeah, it came out this year. And this is from Harvard University Press, The End of the Schism, Catholics, Protestants, and the Remaking of Christian Life in Europe, 1880s to 1970s, by Udi Greenberg. There you go. Get a sense of the size of the book. For centuries, Europe's Catholics and Protestants were bitter rivals, each group blaming the other for violence and alleged moral decline. Yet starting in the 1930s, they swiftly made peace, abandoning old stereotypes and even forming joint political parties and social organizations. Why did these erstwhile adversaries suddenly start cooperating, and what were the consequences? That's what intrigued me about this book, and I wanted to read it. A groundbreaking study, The End of the Schism, overturns conventional wisdom about this revolutionary change. Udi Greenberg shows that ecumenism did not grow out of mutual tolerance. Indeed. That's me saying indeed. Rather, Christian thinkers and politicians on both sides of the Catholic-Protestant divide came together to contain what they considered growing threats to Christian life: socialism, feminism, and Afro-Asian liberation movements. This project of interconfessional peacemaking accelerated with the rise of the Nazis, whose call for religious unity sparked intense debates among Christian denominations about their relationships with one another. Again, that's an aspect that just completely grabs my attention, and I love learning about that. Their rapprochement culminated in the unfolding of the Cold War and decolonization, when Catholic and Protestant authorities formally declared each other, quote, brethren in faith, end quote. It says here, as confessional attachments in Europe have weakened, this coalition of Christians has only grown more cohesive, leveraging their alliance to maintain influence across a politically fractured continent. And let's see, Udi Greenberg, he has written the Weimar Century, German Emigres and the Ideological Foundations of the Cold War. He's also written for The New Republic, The Nation, and Dissent. I know what direction he's coming from, and it's all good. I read from every angle. But this sounds fantastic. I'm excited to read this. So for those of you who enjoy just reading about religion, and sorry, we're getting a storm here soon. It's getting dark, so I might need to lighten up a little bit on that side of the room. There we go. And Boomer's sleeping soundly. If you're interested in just, the Catholic Protestant history and how the two, in this case, where you would say never the twain shall meet, in this case they did meet and made peace of a sort. Yeah, I'm really intrigued by this, and I thought you guys might be as well. So that's from Harvard Press. That is out this year. Okay, Princeton sent me this book. Thank you, Princeton University Press. You are amazeballs. Princeton, when are you going to have your next flash sale? Tell us now. This book, okay, why am I, is this correct? I think I might have shown you this book already, but this is a finished copy. No, okay, this hub sheet says this came out in January 2024. I think they got the year wrong. It's 2025. So this is an interesting title called Europe Without Borders: A History by Isaac Stanley Becker. I really love the cover. I know it's just a photograph, but I love it. It's just so wide open, and I think it's pretty effective. I find it fascinating. Anyway, Princeton University Press pretty much came out in January 2025, even though the pub sheet has an error because it says 2025 in the printing page, on the printing page. Europe is a place of free movement among nations, or is it? The Schengen area, established in 1985 and today encompassing 29 European countries, allows people, goods, and capital to cross borders without restraint. Schengen transformed European life, advancing both a democratic project of transnational citizenship and a neoliberal project of international free trade. But the right of free movement always excluded non-Europeans, especially migrants of color from former colonies of the Schengen states. In this book, Isaac Stanley Becker explores the contested creation of free movement in Schengen, from treaty making at European summits and disputes in international courts to the street protests of undocumented immigrants who claimed free movement is a human right. What is going on here? Schengen laid the groundwork for the making of a single market and the founding of the European Union. Yet its emergence is one of the great untold stories of modern European history, one hidden in archives long embargoed. Stanley Becker is among the first to have access to records of the treaty making, such as letters between France's François Mitterrand and West Germany's Helmut Kohl. And Europe Without Borders offers a path-breaking account of Schengen's creation. He argues that Schengen gave a humanist cast to a market paradigm. But even impairing the border crossing of human beings with the principles of free market exchange, this vision of free movement was hedged by alarm about foreign migrants. Meanwhile, these migrants saw in the promise of a borderless Europe only a neo-colonial enterprise. Oh, wow. But it is garnering a lot of accredited and esteemed blurbs. Blurbs by esteemed historians and other writers. We've got Timothy Snyder, who wrote On Tyranny, which I think I might have it. If not, I don't have it, and I'm going to read it. We've got Timothy Garton Ash, who wrote Homelands. Timothy Andrew Sale, author of Enduring Alliance. So lots of blurbs for this. It might be, I don't know how easy or accessible it is to read, but there's only one way to find out. You gotta read it, baby. Europe Without Borders, A History. And that's from Princeton, out now. Okay, I have to show you this jewel right now. I don't know if this is the first of many, but I'm fascinated. This is a collection of letters by one of America's most respected writers of the 19th century. And this is printed by University of Nebraska Press. And this is going to be something else. Look at this, guys. Volume 1 of The Complete Letters of Henry James. How did I get this? I'm so excited. 1888 to 1891, Volume 1. And you can see all the editors there. Volume 1 from the University of Nebraska Press. Let me get into this for you. The first volume in The Complete Letters of Henry James contains 171 letters, of which 119 are published for the first time. Written from late November 1888 to April 20th, 1890. These letters continue to mark Henry James's ongoing efforts to care for his sister, develop his work, strengthen his professional status, build friendships, engage with timely political and economic issues, and maximize his income, which included hiring an agent. James details his works on The Tragic Muse, Mrs. Temperley, An Animated Conversation, The Solution, and other fiction. This volume opens with James in France and concludes with James on the continent. D. McCormack introduces the volume, paying close attention to James's increasing interest in the theater. And for anyone who's watching and who doesn't know who Henry James was, American author, literary critic, wrote over like 24 novels, obviously including like The Portrait of a Lady and The Golden Bowl. And apparently, according to this pub sheet, he has left behind more than 10,000 letters. So, and we've got 171 of them here, 119 published for the first time. I love letters. I've told you this before on this channel. I love reading letters, historical letters between people, friends, lovers, whatever. I love letters. I used to write letters back in the day when that was still, didn't have the email, didn't have the email, the internet, the YouTube, the Netflix, the Facebook. And I was a good letter writer. I could write love letters. I was good. I enjoyed it. And I love reading them. I have always loved reading letters, letters between people long gone now. But anyway, The Complete Letters of Henry James. So kind of want to put this on your radar, any of you Henry James fanatics out there. You might want to touch base with University of Nebraska Press about this new printing project, because this is pretty cool. So I can't wait to dig into that. Yes, I'm very excited to share this one as well. This is one I requested. This is Civil War history, new history. It's a very slim volume. It's going to be a less than 200-page read, maybe 175 pages. But I wanted to read this because this character, this person from the Civil War has always been so problematic. I mean, it's very clear cut to me who he was and who he represented. But if you go back and look at history, especially if you watch the Civil War, a documentary by Ken Burns, Shelby Foote seemed to love this man. There's not much to love about him, though, outside of the fact that he was a really innovative tactician. He was a fantastic cavalryman, but whatever. This is from Louisiana State University Press, LSU Press. This is Reckoning with the Devil, Nathan Bedford Forrest, in Myth and Memory by Court Carney. I had to have it. You see, very slim volume from LSU Press. But yeah, I'm gonna go through this and annotate it. And if anyone wants to know my thoughts on this, just drop a comment below in the description box, and I will bump this up to the list of books that y'all would like for me to follow up on. Trying to do everything at this channel. I really am not trying to beat I just want you guys to know I am working hard. I'm trying to get author interviews going. I'm trying to get all my reading in for book reviews, and I want to respond to a lot of these books that I haul, or they come across my desk. I do want to be able to provide you with some input. Not everything, obviously I can't read everything, although I am really trying, and it's it's an impossible task, and I need to let myself off the hook a little bit. But anyway, if you would like to know my thoughts on Reckoning with the Devil, especially Civil War fans out there like me, Civil War buffs, let me know. drop me a comment below. Court Carney's Reckoning with the Devil grapples with the troubled, complex legacy of Nathan Bedford Forrest, a slave trader, Confederate general, and prominent Klansman. More than a century after his death, Forrest's image continues to resonate with certain groups and bear varied interpretations, reflecting the intricate interplay of history, memory, and a contested past. Carney explores how historical omissions and erasures continually reshape perceptions of Forrest, as well as the Civil War. Central to Forrest's narrative is his involvement in the slave trade, a key to his ascent in the Southern social hierarchy. Carney traces Forrest's trajectory from a prosperous slave trader in Memphis to a politician and eventual military leader in the Confederacy during the Civil War. Forrest's post-war years reveal his struggle to rebuild his life, leading him to engage in various economic ventures and eventually join the Ku Klux Klan. Carney argues that the slave trade, the Fort Pillow Massacre, and his Klan affiliation were the fundamental elements shaping Forrest's image. Those elements, although steeped in racism and white supremacy, were marked by an ambiguity and malleability that allowed Forrest to attract admirers as well as detractors, as his image was memorialized in post-war white Southern culture. Carney covers distinct phases of Forrest's memorialization, from the unveiling of the statue in Memphis in 1905 to his representation in literature and media, and the controversies surrounding his monuments in the 2010s. That history culminates with the removal of the Memphis statue in 2017, reflecting the evolving societal perspectives on symbols tied to racism. Forrest's significance lies in his capacity to encompass conflicting narratives, hero and villain, rebel and patriot. Carney contends that understanding Forrest's legacy is essential for comprehending the intricacies of the Southern past and its enduring impact on American society. By exploring the fluidity of Forrest's image, Carney's work illuminates the nuanced interplay of history, memory, and the ongoing struggle to reckon with a tumultuous past. So, I'm really excited for this one. Let's see here. Like I said, about 175 pages. It's going to be a good one. LSU Press, out now. Check it out. Oh, no, the sun's coming back out. Oh, did it rain? I guess it rained. I need a drink of water momentarily. All right. Now we're going to go into, this is from University of Oklahoma Press. This one, I think, is from this year, or is it from last year? Oh. 2022. Not sure why it's in here, but we're going to show it to you anyway. The Conquest of Mexico, 500 Years of Reinventions. Edited by Peter Villela and Pablo Garcia Loaza. Okay. Oh, and it's prefaced by Matthew Restall, who wrote a great book on come on, I know you, Matthew Restall. He wrote a, oh gosh, now I can't remember the book. It's on my bookshelf in my bedroom. I just don't know what. Well, he's written on Spain and Mexico before. Was it the Inquisition? Like myths about the Spanish Inquisition or something like that. So we've got the Conquest of Mexico, 500 Years of Reinventions. This is from Oklahoma University Press. The Spanish invasion of Mexico in 1519, which led to the end of the Aztec Empire, was one of the most influential events in the history of the modern Atlantic world. But equally consequential, as this volume makes clear, were the ways the conquest was portrayed. An essay spanning 5 centuries and 3 continents, this book explores how politicians, writers, artists, activists, and others have strategically reimagined the conquest to influence and manipulate perceptions within a wide variety of controversies and debates, including those touching on indigeneity, nationalism, imperialism, modernity, and multiculturalism. Writing from a wide range of perspectives and disciplines, the authors demonstrate that the conquest of Mexico, whose significance has ever been marked by fundamental ambiguity, has consistently influenced how people across the modern Atlantic conceptualize themselves and their societies. All right, I'm not going to read all of that because we are running out of time, But it says here, this is a valuable contribution to ongoing efforts to demythologize and properly memorialize the Spanish-Aztec War of 1519 to 21. And the volume aptly illustrates how we make history of the past and how that history making shapes our present and possibly our future. So, again, like 2 books in a row that kind of look at how history is told, how it is remembered, how it is, historiography kind of is another theme on this book and the last one. So, but I've always been interested in just the history of the Americas, not just North America. I just like Central America, Mexico, South America. I've always been interested. So that's another great one. Let's go back to, you see a whole stack of books, my people. Gosh darn, there's so many. Okay, let's go here. All right, is this one already out? Yes, it is. I don't need this lamp on anymore. Okay. Crazy. We have dark storms and then sunlight again here in Colorado. 31 minutes. This is from Potomac Books, which is an imprint of University of Nebraska Press. I am on their media list, and I get a lot of their new stuff that's of interest to me. This is Disruption, Inside the Largest Counterterrorism Investigation in History by Aki Peretz. Let's see. All right. This is out this year. Okay. Al-Qaeda did not stop after 9/11. Its reign of terror continued with bombings and mayhem across Europe, Africa, Asia, and the Middle East. But its frustration grew as the group failed to fundamentally undermine America and its allies. 5 years later, the time was ripe for another spectacular megaplot. Fresh from masterminding the London Underground carnage, one veteran operative set in motion a new operation to destroy passenger aircraft over the Atlantic Ocean and kill thousands of people in the process. They're just such wonderful people. Aren't they great people? They're so peaceful. Disruption tells the story of that conspiracy and the heroic efforts by the intelligence services of the United States, Great Britain, and Pakistan to uncover and crush it. From the streets of London to the training camps of Pakistan to the corridors of power in Washington, D.C., the story unfolds with murders, double crosses, probes, jailbreaks, and explosions. Former counterterrorism analyst Aki Peretz brings the story to life with vivid imagery, interviews with top intelligence officials, and never-before-seen declassified documents. Disruption is the not-to-be-missed account of the race to stop a terrorist conspiracy that would have remade our world forever. It's almost 300 pages. This looks like it could be a page-turner if it's written in a an effective, gripping way. I like books like this, though. I am always interested to know where we're at, and both the history of fighting terrorism and stopping plots to just present day situations in the world. Geopolitical affairs just fascinate me in general, and I'm always intrigued. So, Disruption by Aki Peretz. This is available now from Potomac Books. No, yeah. Oh, I see. Oh, let me clarify. This is the first Nebraska paperback printing. So this actually came out from another publisher maybe in 2021. But this is the first Nebraska printing, so I'm happy to get my hands on it. I somehow missed it in 2021. So there you have that one. Okay, so now I have an uncorrected proof from Columbia University Press. This is a novel. Historical fiction, in a sense. I'd say literary historical fiction. This is from Columbia University Press. It comes out June 17th, and it's right up my alley. Me and the topics I enjoy. This is The Red Wind Howls by Suring Dondrup, translated by Christopher Peacock. What's this one about, you ask? And I shall tell you. A remarkable novel by one of Tibet's foremost authors, The Red Wind Howls is a courageous and gripping portrayal of Tibetan suffering under Mao's regime. The story delves deep into forbidden history, spanning the famine of the Great Leap Forward, the Cultural Revolution, and, most taboo of all, the 1958 Amdo Rebellion, when Tibetans rose in armed revolt against the Chinese state. Tsering Dondrop self-published the book in 2006, because no publisher would risk accepting it. Isn't that fascinating? When the authorities caught wind, all copies were confiscated, and the author faced severe reprisals. He lost his job as head of the local archives. His passport was confiscated, and he has been under close surveillance ever since. You know, this shit happens in the world, folks. All I'm trying to say is, like, you take for granted the freedom that we have in this country and how quickly it can go in the blink of an eye. Oh, it can't happen here. All right. This powerful novel is largely set in the punitive labor camps to which Tibetans were sent after the failed rebellion, where many perished from starvation or forced labor. Inside and outside the camps, it depicts with dark humor a world of informers, cruelty, and score settling, against the backdrop of immeasurable environmental devastation and the destruction of traditional Tibetan ways of life. The novel draws on extensive interviews conducted by the author, and the rhythms of oral storytelling are reflected in its fragmented narrative style, which jumps back and forth between periods and events. An unparalleled account of the Chinese Communist Party's takeover of Tibet, The Red Wind Howls is both a richly imaginative work of fiction and a vital piece of historical testimony, and that's why I wanted to take a look at this. I love novels that kind of have like a purpose. You know, especially these works in translation that kind of serve a dual purpose, you know, not only to give you a good story, but also it reflects on a history, you know, a period of time, and whether it's here or another area, another country, another political regime, it's all fascinating, and I love learning something while I'm reading fiction. So I wanted to share this with you. This is from Columbia University Press, coming out June 17th, The Red Wind Howls. Keep an eye out for it. Add it to your TBR. Now we're switching to Bison Books, which is another imprint of the University of Nebraska Press. A lot of you Teddy Roosevelt fans out there will be thrilled to see this. It's a very short book, less than 200 pages. And this is Theodore Roosevelt's Wilderness Writings, the new edition, edited and with an introduction by Paul Scullery. So Bison Books, small little paperback here. Theodore Roosevelt, the 26th President of America, was not only the most famous hunter of his generation of Americans, but he was also among its best informed and most popular outdoor writers. Edmund Heller, the well-known Smithsonian biologist who accompanied Roosevelt on his famous African expedition, said that the former president was the world's foremost authority on large mammals. He was also an avid bibliophile and had what may have been the finest large mammal library in North America in the early 1900s. Roosevelt communicated with authorities, both sportsmen and scientists, in all parts of the world. From his lifelong study and enthusiasm for outdoor adventure came a host of durable writings gathered together here in a collection that celebrates the natural world. Oh, that's fantastic. This collection combines classic hunting and nature narratives with his equally durable advocacy of wilderness protection for the sake of personal and national character. So, like, part 2 is about wilderness preservation. This is great. This will go right in with my other Teddy Roosevelt biographies, histories. Got a chapter on bighorn sheep, section on wilderness adventures, natural history. So this is, gosh, you guys, if you really like Teddy Roosevelt and you like to read his writings, this is out right now with Bison Books, University of Nebraska Press imprint. Very excited for this one as well. Oh, here's a book for Bill Rutenberg. Bill! Hi, Bill. Are you ready for this, Bill? This is great. This is the 20th anniversary edition. This is a Nebraska Press title. This is Baseball Before We Knew It, A Search for the Roots of the Game by David Block. 20th anniversary edition. Bunch of new forewords and fantastic. Look at this, guys. This book it won many awards. North American Society for Sport History Book Award, winner of the Seymour Medal from the Society for American Baseball Research. How fun. Camp Doubleday. Yep. This is great. All right, let me get into it. Baseball Before We Knew It. So this was first published in 2005. And it shattered many long-held assumptions about the pastime's origins. No, baseball was not original to America. No, baseball did not come from the English game rounders. Yes, of course the Doubleday story was in fact a myth, but for the first time its secret backstory has been revealed. Beyond all its myth-busting, Baseball Before We Knew It traveled back in time to uncover the true roots of the sport, exploring the many antecedent ball games from Britain and elsewhere that contributed bits of themselves to baseball's evolution. Now in this 20th anniversary edition of his classic work, I can't believe it's already been 20 years. 2005 it seems like kind of like yesterday. 2005 feels like 5 years ago. It does not feel like 20 years ago to me. I don't know what's going on. David Block fills in more of baseball's origin story by summarizing the discoveries and advancements he and his fellow historians have accomplished over the past 2 decades. Other new contributions also appear for the first time in this 2025 edition, including a new foreword by John Thorne, the official historian of Major League Baseball. An expanded annotated bibliography of books relating to baseball origins from before the Civil War, which Bill Rutenberg will probably mine for some additional reading, and 2 new essays from the author. Baseball as We Knew It is a comprehensive, reliable, and readable account of baseball's history before it became America's national pastime. Bill, I'm sending this your way too. Okay, so don't worry about it. I got you covered. I got you covered. But how fun is that? For those of you who love the game. Oh, and the Tigers, hello, first place. We just beat the Astros today. It just continues. I'm so excited. All right, we're getting close. Let's keep pressing on here. A new book from Potomac Books, University of Nebraska Press. We're going back to the Civil War. Memoir. You know I love memoirs. Military memoirs, Civil War memoirs especially. Brand new. We've got the Civil War memoir of John W.M. Appleton. And it's called Waging War for Freedom with the 54th Massachusetts. Edited by James Robbins Jewell and Eugene S. Van Sickle. This is a new release for 2025 from Potomac. Let's see what we can do. Let's talk about this. Late in 1862, amid the horrors of the Civil War, Secretary of War Edwin Stanton, with President Lincoln's approval, authorized the recruitment of black soldiers for the Union cause. In January of 1863, the 54th Massachusetts Volunteer Infantry was born. On February 7, 1863, Massachusetts Governor John Andrew commissioned Boston-bred John W.M. Appleton, the first of the white officers in the most famous Civil War regiment of black soldiers. Appleton immediately began recruiting enlisted soldiers for the company he would command, Company A. Waging War for Freedom with the 54th Mass is a fresh look at the service of this famed regiment as told through Appleton's memoir, the most complete first-person account available about the service of the men in the 54th Massachusetts Regiment. Isn't this a windfall here? Appleton wrote candidly about his own experiences and the men who served with and under him, including troop punishments, combat, and combat injuries, including his own. He also described in detail the weather, climate, southern geography, and his interaction with civilians. And Appleton served with the regiment from February 63 through August 64, when severe injuries forced him home a second time. Taking Appleton's memoir as their foundation, the editors thoroughly contextualized the service of the 54th through its disbanding in 1865, providing a fresh perspective on the men and the regiment as they fought to abolish slavery in the United States. I love journals. I love the memoirs. I love it all. So I can't wait to read this most comprehensive, what did they call it? They said this is the most complete first-person account of the 54th experience with the 54th Mass. I'm super stoked. Thank you, University of Nebraska Press, for publishing this. Boy, do we need to have all views on that regiment and just the role that they played in this war. And it's just having more voices published. I love how we still have new things coming to light in Civil War book publishing, so it's exciting. I can't wait to tap into that as well. All right, another new title here. This actually just came out a week ago. Okay, also from Potomac Books. This is Crisis and Crossfire, the United States and the Middle East since 1945, the second edition by Peter L. Hahn. Always been interested in, like I said, foreign affairs, current events, geopolitical stuff, war, and this is just another book that I wanted to get my greasy paws on. My greedy paws on. Crisis and Crossfire traces the origin of the contemporary challenges facing the U.S. in the Middle East by analyzing the broad contours of U.S. policy in the region since the government's first involvement there in the 1940s. Peter Hahn evaluates U.S. policy in the context of such global phenomenon as the Cold War and the multipolar international order that emerged in the early 2000s. He explains how the U.S. has tried with varying degrees of success to curtail, modify, and channel Arab and Iranian nationalist movements to serve U.S. interests. How's that going? All right. Anyway, it touches on those things, and I just wanted to. I'm running out. I'm trying to keep this less than 50, baby. So this is brand new out from Potomac Books. So if Middle East is your gig, then you might want to read this one as well. What else am I? Let's take a look at another book from Columbia University Press. They published this from there, contacted me. Then this is a novel, but I find it fascinating. This is called Elephant Herd by Zhang Guxing, translated by Carlos Rojas. Elephant Herd, a vivid and captivating novel by the Taiwan-based Malaysian-Chinese writer Zhang Guxing, is an atmospheric account of a Malaysian-Chinese young man's journey upriver, deep into the rainforest of northwest Borneo, in search of his uncle, the leader of a guerrilla group. Venturing through the jungle, he enters a verdant and vertiginous world of wild creatures and political peril. And isn't that enigmatic? Because that's all it says. Yes, it's part of the series that Columbia University Press puts out called Modern Chinese Literature from Taiwan. So, Elephant Herd, a novel. I am intrigued. I have no idea where it goes from there, but I wanted to also bring that to your attention. All right, back to Potomac Books. This is another kind of like memoir, I guess. This is All Roads Lead to Rome. Searching for the End of My Father's War. What happens when a seasoned journalist and travel writer takes on his most challenging assignment yet, crossing not just continents but also history by retracing his father's steps on the battlefields of Italy in World War II? When a slim packet of his father's letters came to light after his mother's death, Bill Thorness began a quest to rediscover his father. Thorness traveled to the World War II battlefields where America's first team of commandos fought. The youngest son of one of those commandos, Thorness gained a sense of the horror his father had kept from his family while standing on the mountain where the 1st Special Service Force fought. Say that 5 times fast. 1st Special Service Force fought. Then, standing on a bridge in Rome, he reflected on the loss his father must have felt in not making it to the end of the campaign to liberate the Eternal City. In All Roads Lead to Rome, Thornus considers his father's decisive moments in battle and beyond, and how he soldiered on as a disabled veteran through his life, raising a family and succumbing to an early death. Alternating between reimagined battle scenes and present-day travels, Thornus explores World War II and family history, the value and limits of memory, the attitudes of war, and our society's inadequate understanding and support of combat veterans. Thank you. Yes, that needs to be talked about. And also who may return with physical and emotional scars that change them deeply. So this is a part travelogue, part history, and part memoir about the ravages of war. So this is going to be another powerful read. I can feel it. And I love reading these type of accounts that just humanizes, and talks about the human cost of war as well. So what do you think, guys? We're at 50 minutes. I'm a little bit over, but how about these University Press titles, baby? Are you enjoying? Did you find something here you liked? And drop some comments below. I love hearing from you guys. All right, let me wrap this up. Again, I made another long one. These analytics, this is why nothing's... I'm doing it wrong. If I want more viewers and more views, I'm doing it wrong. But you know what? This is the format that works for me right now. So anyway, guys, I hope you're having a great day. Let me get this uploaded and out to you. And until next time, thanks for joining me here at the History Shelf. We'll see you soon. Bye.